Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon now to all of you. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate you being here today. The first couple questions I have, I believe, are pretty straightforward. So I'm going to, in the first one, ask for a yes or no answer. It's a subject area that some of my colleagues have raised, but I'm going to be as direct as I can. The question is this. Are members of the executive branch required to follow court orders? We'll begin with Mr. Artel.
I think, as I answered before, generally speaking, all parties that are subjected to a court order are required to follow orders.
So that's a yes.
There are a few exceptions, but like appeals, stays.
I'll get to it in a second.
Yeah.
Let's go down the
Sure, Senator. Outside of the exceptions that were mentioned, then that's a yes.
Same answer, Senator.
My answer is the same.
Right. And I, been hearing, well, there's exceptions. What is the appropriate way or options for a litigant to respond to a court order they think was incorrectly decided? And I'm talking district and circuit court level. What are the options if you disagree with the ruling or finding?
Would you like me to start, Senator?
Yes,
to seek a stay, to seek rehearing, to seek an appeal, to explain why it would not be possible, to perhaps put in some evidence to that regard.
Not just explaining to the general public, right? The judicial process, seek a stay, seek an appeal. There's mechanisms for registering your disagreement, right? And finding another day in court. Let's continue.
I agree with Judge Artao's statement. Those exceptions are the appropriate mechanisms to.
Thank you.
Keep my answer short. Yes, there are various mechanisms to seek review or stay of a court order with which a party disagrees.
And I agree with those answers.
Right. So I didn't hear any of you say that just disregarding or dismissing court orders is an option. I don't want to speak for you. If anybody disagrees with that, my interpretation from your answers is dismissing or disregarding court orders is not an option. You can register your objection at this point. Seeing none, thank you for that. So this next question is, as I'm a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and your judicial nominees before us, but my motive for asking you this question is actually just at a basic human level. We're living at a time where the President of the United States has not been shy about expressing his disapproval of so many figures in our country, but members of the judiciary, judges, and justices are not an exception to that. When there are cases that are found against his interest, against his agenda, against his favor, he has on multiple occasions either directly or indirectly criticized, some say harassed, or directly or indirectly suggested others, maybe his supporters, to do that, focusing their ire on members of the bench. This is not news to any of you. What I'd like to know is whether before you were reached out to for a potential nomination or subsequent to outreach to you for a potential nomination, did you consider this new dynamic in the American political environment? And did you have discussions with your spouses and your families about how you would handle it if you became the target of such criticisms and or harassment or anything to that effect? Mr. Artel, we'll go down the line.
This job, I've always thought, requires courage. It requires judicial courage. I think it's a quality that I have. As I said, I've been a judge for 11 years, and I have not been shy about ruling on cases that I need to rule on. And it comes with the territory. So I understand that I may be criticized, and I'm likely to be criticized, and I was willing to take that risk because I love my country and I want to serve my country.
Thank you.
Senator, I would just add to that I do believe this is a very public-facing job, that criticism is part of it. And, in litigation in general, someone generally leaves unhappy with your decision, and I've accepted that, and I believe it's the responsibility of a judge to apply the law to the facts as they stand before you, regardless of the outcome that it may be. So that's what I would do moving forward if I was confirmed.
Thank you.
I agree. A judge needs to be willing, if the law requires, to issue an unpopular decision. And I think it's a great feature of our country that individuals have a First Amendment right to express, their thoughts about judicial decisions. I think that, my concern when I look at a case isn't, any criticism that might come my way. It's only, what does the law require to the case that's in front of me? And I think that anyone who takes the judicial oath needs to have the courage to do that in any case, regardless who the party is, regardless what the issue is. And that's my answer, Senator.
Senator, I agree. I think this is a tough job, and only tough people should do it. Criticism comes with the territory. My job is to follow the law and not concern myself with what someone might say and not get my feelings hurt about what they might say.
Look, I appreciate your answers. Y'all focused on criticism, willingness to be criticized comes with the territory. The times we're living in I wish it was just contained to that. Not a hypothetical. There's been instances, multiple instances, where the rhetoric is beyond just criticism. It does fall into the areas of harassment. Some suggest even threats. And I pray that none of you become victims of that, should you be fortunate enough to be confirmed. Thank you for your time.
Padilla. Senator Schiff, good timing.
Thank you.